Thursday night, welcome to my live event. Today I would like to discuss a little bit about myself, but the main topic of today's video is fear, anxiety, fear of the unknown. We are currently really living in a very important times, were very unique times because none of our predecessors have lived through the pandemic with the lockdown that we have lived for in the last 4 months, 5 months, and obviously we are currently going under a situation where in some cases the individual towns, villages are in the lockdown. So I was thinking really that currently many people might find themselves feeling anxious, feeling um, as if they are standing in the middle of a road and they don't know which direction to turn because everything seems to be like a wall in front of them. Until people were on furlough, they were guaranteed a certain standard of living because they have been paid for staying at home, for keeping themselves safe. But here we could ask a question. What did I do in order to take advantage of opportunities that have been put before me to empower myself to create a better future, even though uncertain, because obviously we are living in a very uncertain world at the moment, but very fragile time, even I would say. And when we allow the fear, anxiety, the wandering of our mind to take over, our whole body, our whole thinking brain is actually blocked. We are not able to think because the fear, anxiety cuts our brain away from using our mental ability to plan, create, to divagate, to discuss, to really think over of the situation and how can we take advantage what have been given to us in order to do things that we have not normally been able to do for that purpose, for our future. So when we become anxious, and that comes quite suddenly simply because we have been allowing ourselves to dwell on things which we have no power over. So it is very easy to get ourselves down into depression, into a dark hole, and then not able to come back out of it unscathed. So how can you do it? I can tell you my own story. Throughout my life, I have been put under stress. I have been put into situations which created fear within me, and every day that fear was growing, and it grew to a point where I was not able to control it because the fear controlled me. So it had a huge and negative effect on my life. on my decision taking, and on being surrounded with the wrong people, and eventually I just couldn't handle it anymore and I had to do something about that. And now, looking at the way some people are experiencing their anxiety, their fear, it all brings my memories, and it gives me, I would say, a strength. I would say it gives me the gratefulness for the fact that all those many years ago I have been able to shake all of my fears off, all of the anxiety, all of the depression, and I am able to stay positive, to look for opportunities rather than to look for negative thinking. So it has been a long journey. It is not happening overnight. It's a long journey, and it depends upon ourselves, because it is our decision in every instance. It is our decision whether we want to stick to fear. It is our decision whether we want to stick in the anxiety, and it is our decision if we want to keep positive and stay positive and make sure that we are taking every single opportunity that comes our way in order to grow, develop, and be able to stay employable, to stay on top of the, shall we say, mountain. So, how to deal with that stress, how to overcome it? Well, I can tell you how I did it. And the way I have done it is that I have purchased a book by Louise Hay. The book title is How to Heal Your Life. And I was studying that book. I was doing the exercises suggested within that book. I was able to learn the skills and things to be able to deal with the things that I feared most. And one of my biggest fears was to cold call people. And I remember back in 2003 until 2004, about around this time of 2004, I have been making myself to cold call companies, to recruit people for them and be able to offer them a recruitment service. It was very, very hard, because when you are in deep fear, your fear is actually dictating you and is giving you advanced thinking of imagination that if I call somebody, I will say something, and that somebody on the other side of the phone will be negative towards me because of my accent, will be negative because I am cold calling. And every time I created an excuse, more excuses were following into my brain. So the hardest part was to actually change the way my brain was thinking. So how did I do that? With the help of the book, I have been able to speak to my subconscious. I have been able to negotiate with my inner child, and I have been able to harmonize all of those things and be able to become, shall I say, brave, um, more self-confident, and I was able to start discussion with people that I didn't know. I was able to start a conversation with people that I didn't know before, and I was able to negotiate with people that I didn't know prior to negotiations. So changes were huge. Suddenly, from a person who was basically running away just on the thought of having someone behind my back, to a person who was able to walk straight, talk to anyone, negotiate with anyone, from a person who would be shaking and having um, lots of problems fighting vibrating voice when speaking in public. All of that took me some time, but I can now say to you all that you can overcome anything. And I remember the time when I was very, very stressed. There was a time when I wanted to take my own life. And when it didn't happen, I decided that I will change my life in the biggest possible way. So one of those changes was to take up study. I went and enrolled in the college. 4 years later, I graduated at the Manchester Metropolitan University. I started setting up businesses from nothing. I was able to employ people. I was able to uh, have a phenomenal relationships with clients, and I have connections with them even today. So it was an extremely hard work. But if you can set yourself a goal, if you say to yourself that no more of the current situation, no more of sitting in that dark hole, thinking that there is no light outside of it, you will be absolutely shocked in how you can change your life. And I guarantee you that because I went through it. I like to say welcome to Kamlesh Rajput. Thank you so much for your comment. And I hope that you are really enjoying what I am saying here. So the current times that we are, there is majority of people who have been stuck inside a house, inside an apartment, wondering what has hit them and seeing blank in front of their eyes about the future. So I wonder how many of you have been in that situation. I wonder how did you cope with that situation, if you can share that with us here. But also, I would like you to tell us if you can see that there is help out there by professionals, or is there something that people who call themselves professionals may really do more damage than good. So important issues. But let me just bring something from Louise Hay for you, which she said, and this is what she said: each moment is a new beginning. So whatever happened a fraction of a second ago is gone. We cannot change that. But we can change what is here and now, and we can change what is going to happen. And she goes on to say, I repeat, the point of power is always in the present moment. You are never stuck. This is where the changes take place, right here and right now, in our own mind. It doesn't matter how long you have had a negative pattern, or an illness, or poor relationship, or lack of finances, or self-hatred. We can start to make changes today. So if you cannot bring yourself into talking about your issues with someone, maybe your life partner, maybe your husband, wife, brother, sister, maybe your employer, or even your doctor, maybe you are able to talk to someone who will be listening to you with understanding, with empathy. Because I think quite often people fear of sharing their thoughts and anxiety with people, thinking and being afraid of that someone is going to judge them, that someone is going to be laughing at them, that someone is going to be shouting with them and giving them all sorts of talk that is actually going to create more damage than good. So if you have someone who can listen to you with empathy, if you have someone who have had similar experiences before, then please do share your thoughts. Please do open up to those people, because you will be surprised how much help you can get. And there is plenty of people who will do that free of charge, because this is the time when money and wealth is not really important. The important thing is that our mental health is at the right level, that we are strong, that we are determined, that we are capable of changing our life for the better. We are also very much manipulated. It's enough to look into media, it's enough to read newspaper or watch the news. Yes, we are manipulated in many different ways. But if we love ourselves, if we respect ourselves, if we are determined enough to be who we are and to learn new skills, new ways, change our lives for the better, then we can fight anything. Because we can surround ourselves with the right type of people, with the strong-minded people who are not manipulative, who are honest, who act with integrity, and they will be able to help you. Join a mastermind with people who have the same interest, with people who have similar goals to you. Join that master group and help each other. You cannot imagine how much power is in such a group. I was fortunate enough to meet a person who was very, very helpful for me and was able to help me to take things apart and deal with them step by step, to come out of that shell, to come out of those limiting beliefs, to come out of that dark hole and see the light. And I am sure that you will be able to do the same. The only thing is that you must make that decision. You must make that decision. I want to change. I want my life to be different. I want my life to be full of light, full of laughter, full of happiness. And one of the tools that worked really well for me during those hard times was to have a very powerful, positive memory of an event, or maybe a person, or people, or something that happened in the past within your life, that when you think about this is making you smile, is making you relaxed, and you feel warmth in your stomach. Something that really was giving you a heavenly feeling, a feeling of freedom, a feeling of love, feeling of happiness. Try to think of an event like this and keep it in your mind, because whenever that dark moment comes, and I must give you the bad news, because we all, even the happiest people, we come across a day or a moment in the day that makes us sad for a variety of reasons. But when that memory comes automatically into your mind, because you seek it and you bring it up, everything disappears and you are completely a different person. That tool is very powerful, and please use it, because it will really make a huge difference in your life, in your daily chores and your way of thinking. The other thing which I would like to move you into is that become the fun, become the friend of personal development. Start reading books, start watching positive videos on YouTube. Maybe start a channel yourself and tell your story, how you have overcome anxiety, how you have overcome fear, how you have overcome a situation where you have perhaps been manipulated. Maybe you have had a really difficult times and you didn't know how to make that decision to change everything. Because there is so many people out there that needs help, and they are too shy, too afraid to ask. They are too afraid to pull out their hand, because their limiting beliefs are telling them that if you tell somebody, they will laugh. If you tell somebody, they will judge you. If you tell somebody, they will turn their back on you. If you tell somebody, they will call you names and so on. Stop. Stop thinking that way. Stop acting that way. You can change your life now, today, this moment. You only have to do one thing. Make a decision. Make a decision. And just to finalize this evening's meeting with you, I would like to read you a quote which I consider to be very powerful from Leonardo da Vinci. He said, "Every now and then, go away, have a little relaxation, for when you come back to your work, your judgment will be surer. Go some distance away, because then the work appears smaller, and more of it can be taken in at a glance, and a lack of harmony and proportion is more readily seen." It's a powerful quotation, it's a powerful statement by Leonardo da Vinci. And just to finish, if you feel anxious, if you feel afraid, make sure that you do an exercise. And that exercise is to take a series of deep breaths through your nose. And the best one that I practice is that I breathe in through my nose, counting to 7, hold, counting to 7, release through my nose, counting to 7, and hold to 7. Repeat that 7 times and you will feel the difference. Thank you for being with me today. Please, when this video is released later on my fan page, if you can share it with your friends and your acquaintances, I will very much appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to see you next week on Thursday at 7 p.m. for another meeting, and I look forward to see you. In the meantime, have a fantastic week and change your life now. Bye bye.